This kennel had to fit through a 30-inch doorway. At its smallest part, it's 36 inches, so we had to build it where it came apart, and it kicked my butt. This is what I'm building. I've already built this whole section right here as one part. Then I'm going to build this triangular section as a second part that's going to be a knockdown format. I've got my base already cut to size. And now I've got to make the face frame, the side panel, another side panel, and then the two back sides. And then figure out how to put a cubby in there without messing it up. That whole not messing it up thing, yeah. So this isn't that complicated of a build, but it seemed like I kept making these dumb little mistakes and just really frustrating things that I shouldn't have done, but I think we all have projects like that from time to time where we know what we're doing, it should be easy, but then it's just not easy. And little things go wrong, like my saw not being perfectly dialed in. Yeah, I should have checked that before I started, but it cuts at 90, so I just assumed it. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Robert Dailey, and this is the Dailey Woodworks YouTube channel, where I build and help you build great furniture. This one, not my best work. We're just going to lay that out right now. So, but I am going to show you kind of the problems I ran into and how to fix it. I'm using the Festool Knockdown connector system. I've done several videos over this system as well as a full tutorial, so I'm kind of glossing over quite a few things right now. You have a male end, a female end. You do the male end with an 8-bit, 15 millimeters deep, hammer in the plug, the teeth, the best I can call it, and then when you screw in the pin, it kind of wedges it up. The female end is a 2-step process to mill. You mill a 28 millimeter hole or mortise, and then you come back with this drill guide and you drill out the hole for the set screw and the lock mechanism. If you are planning on starting to use the Festool knockdown connectors, I do recommend buying the full kit for the DF500. It comes with the drill bits, all the connectors, all the jigs, and everything you need to really do it. You don't have to do that, obviously, but it just makes it easier. So I'm installing the pins. The pins have to face a certain way. You test fit it, you put in the set screw, it pulls it all tight. And it's really that simple. You just have to make sure you get your layout right, which is anytime you're using a domino, you have to get your layout right. But you kind of want to be extra sure whenever you're working on it this way. So you can kind of see that gap that I had with those angled pieces. I thought I could get that to close up, but my angles were tight in the back, but open in the front, which is not what you want. You want them open on the non-show side. So what you have here with this missing footage is a lot of trying to put dominoes at a 22.5 degree angle and it not going well, and now I forgot to record it. It was so frustrating trying to get that right. And now my little helper is out here helping me get things assembled. He's putting in all those set screws for me, which is awesome because then I don't have to bend over and do it. That's one nice thing about working out of my garage shop is all of my kids are always around. And I can kind of teach them little things like this. They come hang out with me. And it's nice. So here I am. You can see how I've got this is one section. So it didn't have to flat pack. It just had to disassemble. So I made basically as big of pieces as I could. The L portion is all basically its own standalone kennel. and I never can get my usage of the knockdown connectors right. I always use way more than I need. I could probably gotten away with just 2 and then used some wood dominoes to act as alignment, and it would have been just as strong. Because the connectors end up being about $2 a piece. Okay, so now I've got the body of this assembled, and now it's got to have a cubby right here. So it's going to go, so I've got to figure out how to build it and how I'm going to build this shape of a cubby in there and make it where it can all come out so this thing can go, not flat packed, but just disassembled to go through a door, because this whole unit assembled is wider than 36 inches in several different orientations, so it'd be impossible to get through your standard front door, which is why I have to build this guy to be disassembled. It's been a pain in the butt. You can see I've got a little gap right there that I've got to get through, and a little gap right here. These miters just didn't close up. They closed up on the back, but I think I had my angle wrong. But you know the saying?
No.
A little putty, a little paint makes a carpenter what he ain't. And let's just say I'm glad this was a paint grade project. I know I'm going to get flat comments for saying that, but it's true. No project ever goes 100% right. Tearing it up, starting over every single time you make a single mistake isn't practical. So learning to fix the mistakes as you go, hopefully make less mistakes as you grow as a carpenter or a woodworker is the goal. But being able to fix your mistakes, I think, is just as important as not making mistakes in the first place. Because I didn't have the option to just throw my hands up and quit. I didn't have the time to start over again, so I had to make it right. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm getting everything lined up. I know that mark follows the corner that way. And same thing here. I know that mark. So these 2 points, as they intersect, should make my 90. So I can use this guy at least as a protractor to get my line there. Guy will go like that, glued and nailed on. This guy will go like that and get glued and nailed on, and somehow I'll make it where this sets in to a tray once it's assembled and secures. Haven't even figured that out yet. I'm literally kind of making this up as I go. So that's kind of a question I have for you if you're watching. Are you someone who kind of wings it as you build stuff and kind of makes it up as you go? Or do you have to have every single detail laid out before you start cutting wood? I use SketchUp a lot, mainly for customers to see, hey, this is what we're buying, and I was able to work out a lot of the angles and things like that. But I don't go through the process of, detailing out where every joint's going to go, or this cubby, like I can't really figure that out in SketchUp. I can't figure out where the wood's going to hit and when I'm trying to angle it in. And that's my biggest problem, is I kept trying to put it in, it didn't fit, put it in, it didn't fit. Having that cleat across the top didn't work right. If I had to do it over again, you can see me trying to take it out actually right now. But I glued it in place so it wasn't coming out. But if that would have come out, then I could have, made a workaround. So now it's trim it down, and then I'm kind of cutting out a little L shape to make it kind of hook under that the stretcher that's there. Using a handsaw here. I got this little Japanese pull saw from Lowe's. It's an Irwin brand, and I'm far from a hand tool expert, but I liked it. I think it worked really good. And I tried a few different ways. I tried doing a wedge shape at first. That didn't work. I went back and then did an L cutout, which you're seeing me cut right there. Finally got it fit. It took a while. So I drilled out 2 holes in the top of the stretcher, so with the screwdriver you could go and attach the Phillips head screw that holds that in place, and then there's a third one on the back. And it's just test fitting, making sure it's lined up correctly, and then drilling out any holes that I need to drill out. And so this is your cord fit through. And you've been seeing that umbrella go around. They found the umbrella and a bunch of old stuff and just started playing with it, and I'm sure it's already broken somewhere. So now I'm moving on to the top after I've fought with the body, got it done. It's in paint right now while I'm doing this. I'm laying out my top, kind of seeing like, okay, which boards do I want to use, not use, what looks good laid out. And then I rough cut the pieces that I do want to use to size, go back, edge joint with the track saw, and then touch it up on the table saw. So that's where I get basically my S4S. It's right there on the table saw. I have a 6-part series over the Festool Domino. I'll link that playlist in the description. Glossing over a lot of stuff with the Domino right now, but it's such a great tool, and it's so versatile to have in your shop. If you're only going to buy one Festool, get the Domino, and then closely followed by their vacuums, which are just a luxury item to have in your shop. This was red oak. They specifically wanted red oak, and we used our espresso stain. And here I am just making sure everything's laid out right, that where my angle is, there's no dominoes that are going to come through right there. And my adjustable height work table, which is just so nice to have. So as you can see, I made this basically 2 glue ups and then did a 3rd glue up to get them to join together, just due to the shape. And this worked out very well. And then I just let it dry right there. Now it's time to lay things out and get my reveals right, my overhangs right, make sure all my angles are where they need to be, because I only get one shot at making this top right. And as many little mistakes as I've made up to this point, I didn't want to make another one. So now I'm basically laying out, I've got to have those 2 angled pieces meet up. So I'm really carefully making a mistake here. I'm basically trimming the wrong end, and you'll see that in just a second. But you can see how I've just very carefully chiseled everything out, cut it with the handsaw, had it perfect where it was supposed to just butt up perfectly. And that was my defeat right there. And That's what I did wrong. I should have cut the other part where it butted up. So Starbond adhesive. I have a affiliate link with them where you can get like 5% off your first order. It's just a great little CA glue. Sand it down and then touch up paint a few times, a few coats to get it right. Yeah, so everyone says, you know, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Or if you do what you love, you'll learn to hate it. Neither one of those statements is true. Sometimes work is just work and a job is just a job. This was kind of how this project was for me. I'm happy with the finished product. The customer was ecstatic. They loved it. But this project just sucked. Like, work just sucked this day. But I don't hate what I do. I actually really enjoy making things. Oh, yes, so I got rambling. I had the opportunity to test the D-handle Festool Carvex and the barrel grip Festool Carvex. So I would highly recommend you check out that next video. It's coming out right after this one, so you can see how they compare, because I ended up choosing the D-handle, but I got to use both side by side. Fitting it together, assembling it, bolting it together. The top just screws on, and what you saw the camera there for, the second camera, is I make a full assembly video for all of my customers on that's a step-by-step. So that assembly video, it's private, but it's as long as this one because I took the time to really explain in detail, this is how you assemble it in your space. Here's the finished project. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it. And if I've earned your subscription, sure would appreciate it.